Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, let me turn this down so I'm not too loud. Hello, welcome to another episode of The Watch with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Make some noise. Yes, indeed, clap it up. Get excited wherever you are, because we're back with another action-packed show for you today on this Friday afternoon. That's right, it's Friday, it's the weekend. It's time to get up and get excited. We ending the week off strong with a dominant display of absolute entertainment and fun with you on this show dedicated to you, because it is all with the championship rounds moniker. You all drive the conversation, you all drive the intrigue for all your questions, comments, debates, concerns, and any sort of opinions that you may have that you want me to talk about. Hey, we can make it your floor to have and have your voice be seen by the masses, to have your questions be said and talked about right here on this show on this Friday afternoon. It's going to be a phenomenal time. We're so glad that you're here with us with the rest of the intro that we got to get through. If you're just tuning in and you like what you're hearing or you ain't done it already, come on ahead and join the empire. Come on and subscribe. Yes, indeed. Come join the hottest show in all the globe. This monolith, this empire, this absolute fast track bullet train to success that we're all garnering together as a community. We can all do it together, all with you and your support. Come join on the good ship Welch, because I tell you what, we sailing the seven seas all the way to the top of the world with you and your support. Also be sure, hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on the video. Let the algorithm see that this is the place to be everywhere on YouTube. Also, rate us 5 stars on every podcasting platform imaginable that you can find us. And if you can't find us, tell us. And wherever you listen to podcasts, we'll get there absolutely. And be sure to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together, all with you and your support. We can make this thing grow exponentially. We're at 2,025 subscribers, matching this very year. Hey, we can break it and we can get to 226 and then 227. Lord knows, then 3,000. And who knows what we're going to get from there, but all with you and your support, we can make this happen. I appreciate it. If you would like to support the channel and you like what you're hearing, you want this thing to keep on going, because we got bills to pay, we got money to make. If you can support, and whatever you can give will be just fine. We got Cash App, we got PayPal, we got links down below in the description if you would like to come in and support the channel and help make this thing bigger, grander, and better, all for your viewing and listening pleasure while we're waiting on monetization, which again is coming very soon. I promise you, I'm not teasing it for nothing. We getting everything set up on the back end correctly, and all when it comes down the pipe, we're gonna be sitting high, sitting pretty, sitting all sedity with nothing but money in our backs and the sail, no, not and the winds of change blowing us to our future. Absolutely. Gotta make sure I spoke right, but even still, we got a great show today. We got a phenomenal time to enjoy, and we got an afternoon to take advantage. So, hey, with all that being said, we got boxing to cover, we got sports to delve into, and since that's the case, we got the championship rounds to start. So, without further ado, hey, let's jump right into it, shall we? Yes, sir. Ring the bell. Let's get it started. Round 1 of the championship rounds going underway, and it's the whole show, all for your dedicated viewing and listening pleasure. Whatever you want to talk about, we can be about. And if you want to put your chats in the comment section, we can talk about it right here. Like with Love King. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're here with us all today. Good afternoon to you. Hopefully, wherever you are, you're enjoying your day, you're enjoying your time, you're having fun, you're living life. And hey, hopefully we can make your day a little bit better as you listen to the show. So, hey, we got an action-packed show for you today. And while you're getting your questions together, because the whole show is dedicated to the championship rounds, you all can change and add to the conversation at the drop of a hat. And we got agendas and plot points, but you all control the narrative of the show all day today. We do need to make sure that we touch on at least one thing, as I do have it to talk about, and that is the drama surrounding the Muhammad Ali Act getting amended. Oh, yes. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, Lord. Oh, it happened. It happened. He's got everybody up and on, every single set of the pundit, expert, podcaster, analyst, no matter who you think, has been in a rage over the fact that the California Athletic commission. I believe I have that. But let me make sure I got the title correct. We want this to be official. The California State Athletic Commission votes to approve support for Ali Revival Act, or in this case, to make it plain, an amendment, an addendum to the Ali Act. What I believe was a complete sweep. What was it? 6-0 from the California State Athletic Commission. So essentially over there, now it has been made possible that yes, the addendums and the additives that Dana White wanted to make to the Ali Act have now gotten approved. And everybody is saying, oh no.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems
And
here.
understandably so.
We got some problems here.
And understandably, and see, Al Booger, glad that you here. And I appreciate you coming in. Hey, look, the bump. The bumps. See, yes. Hey, see, look, I get it. It's a whole bunch of ire. It's a lot of concern. It's a lot of very much not unpredictability. Very much looking over your shoulder. Hey, what did we just open up? And so this is the great point in time to talk about it. We got to understand what exactly will this now mean? Now, for layman's terms, Dana White got what he wanted. He got what he wanted. Hey, let's keep that a buck right now. Also, Al Booger, salute to you. Again, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you and anybody else who wants to join in on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And also, please keep on sharing the show with everybody. Keep on getting the likes up. Let's get it so that everybody can see that this is a place to be. But even still, regardless of which, and also, real quick, apologies for the late start. We are doing things behind the scenes, and so again, like I said, we business and ingenuity. We doing stuff, we getting stuff together, so that's why we've been starting a little bit late. A couple of weeks, or a couple of times this week. It ain't the norm, please, it ain't the norm, but try to make sure our stuff is together. But regardless of which, to put it in layman's terms, what this means, one, Dana White got what he wanted. He wanted to make it so that his league was viable. And he wanted to get the Ali Act changed to be able to do what he wanted to do, which now it's done. We're here now. The reality or the potential reality is now the actual reality, and Dana White has the opening to make his league viable and possible. Now, what are these addendums to the Ali Act? From what I have been able to gather, and I'm not trying to do, I'm going to give my opinions after this, but just to let you know, what I've been able to gather, what this act is actually going to be about, it is a situation where the core of the Ali Act hasn't changed. What's been added to it is to make it possible that a league, a boxing league, that Dana White is trying to make with TKO and the Zuffa, and Zuffa boxing, that was not able to be possible with the way that the Ali Act was initially structured without any amendments and addendums to make that a possibility. Now, with the addendums to the Ali Act or the Ali Revival Act, it is now possible to make a boxing league within the sport of boxing. So, from what I can gather, that's what this is. So, thankfully, it seems like, and again, I'm being very careful when I say this, it seems like the core of everything that we were worried about on that front will be untouched, at least for now. And under the league is making it so that the league can operate as a league when the league wasn't able to exist, and they can have a different set of rules, which is why when we were saying that Dana White was doing the whole league situation, when he said you can choose to fight under the Ali Act, or you can trust me and go with the Zuffa League and operate under us, and I think it'll be pretty good for you. That's what I've been able to gather. However, even still, there is a lot of concern because of who is still behind this. And with Dana White, it's a very tentative issue. Because yes, I will completely capitulate. Also, we got Tay in the building with us today. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're with us on today. Good morning to you. Good afternoon, wherever you are out in the world. We appreciate you all tuning in. Right now, we're talking about the drama with the Ali Act, and we're going over with, at least with Dana White specifically. I understand that Dana White is not the only bad apple in the bunch of boxing promoters. I completely understand them. In fact, let me change the title real quick so we can. We're still in the championship rounds, but I made these titles in case these things get talked about in the discussion of the conversation. So hey, we got it, so it's all good. But even still, keep on putting your questions and comments in the comment section, and whatever you want to ask, please put it in there, because still, whole show's still dedicated to you all. Every Friday it's championship rounds. But I know that Dana White is not the only concerning apple in the world of boxing promoters of the entire bunch. De La Hoya's got a bunch of problems. Al Heyman, as much as people love to support him, and I get that, even understandably so, he still has had issues with the PBC. Bob Arum, who's essentially Methuselah in the world of boxing, he's been a part of many controversies. No question. And people, promoters before him, Eddie Hearn has had his issues. Frank Warren has had his issues. We have said continuously that one of the reasons why Turkey was even able to come into this sport and make as big of a splash as he was because of the corruption and because of the outright dragging of feet and the bad job that a lot of the promoters were doing for over 2 decades before Ring and Riyadh season. He became a part of this thing. Helped to get the downtrend of the sport going. We get that. And a lot of them, yes, are not trustworthy. I don't know them. You're absolutely right. But you have to also understand the actions and the track record of all of them are incredibly concerning. Regardless of if you think they're better now, there's a reason why we're so cynical. Well, it's not cynical. There's a reason why we are so skeptical and we're so harsh on all of them. Because all of them have made the same mistakes when they said they wouldn't make the mistakes that their predecessors made. Somebody got robbed. Somebody got gypped. Somebody got their money stolen. All this stuff is bad. And they did it. All of them did it. All of them helped to make the sport worse. All of them have stolen money from people. Even if it wasn't their intention. I am not trying to push blame. I'm telling you facts. This is just what's happened. Dana White is not the first bad brother. Don King is still alive and well. And I despise that man for his actions to this day. Still stealing money from people. Still messing them. I don't care how much of a transcendent promoter he was to help elevate the sport and as a fixture in boxing. Yeah, it's hard to tell the story without him. But doggone it, we're not going to say he wasn't one of the worst offenders, because he was. But because of all that stuff, guess what? When we look at Dana White and we're saying, hey, you're doing this, we got some questions to ask. Because all of a sudden, the very thing that we see you trying to change is the very thing that even hindered the power that you had. And even then, it still got abused by everybody. And it still got messed up. And so, the scrutiny about Dana White is not just about the changes and all this big stuff that's trying to move on or trying to be moved around by him and Zuffa, but it is the identity and the track record of who he is, along with these amendments and addendums to allow him to do what he wants to do. Though it doesn't change the core at this point in time, though it doesn't change the core of what the act is, which is good for now, it also allows him to open up the window to do what he wants to do when operating his league, and that could also be detrimental. Because track record shown, even the last time when he built the UFC, and he did a phenomenal job, guess what? People were still falling well under what they needed to be to survive. And people were getting underpaid all the time. And boxers were in a very dangerous, not boxers, fighters, UFC fighters were getting shafted. And even when they were demanding changes like Francis Ngannou, what happened? Even the most basic stuff that you had the money to do, you wouldn't be able to do, like healthcare, insurance, pension plans, retirement funds. Because it's my word, the highway. So that's where this gets really concerning. But let me keep on reading what you all have to say on the matter. Let me see. Al Booger, that's one thing I can't argue. Boxing did this to itself. Yeah, see, you're right. And so all these things opened up because boxing forced, essentially, boxing created this portal to be possible. And going back to anime, so much, and I forget which anime show, but there's some anime where it's like so much negative energy came about in like some fight or some city that it opened up a portal to like this parallel world. And it was like, if y'all weren't so miserable, self-inflicted misery, this wouldn't even be possible for this type of calamity to come about on you. But because y'all did not want to change, you let this entity come into the show, and now boom, it's wreaking havoc everywhere. And you need a savior to come bring you out. Again, I forget which show the anime was, but essentially it's like that. It just boxing did it to itself. But at the same time, we gotta be we're not being skeptical just for nothing. We understand this can get really bad really quick. I think gypsy is a slur. Gypsies. Really? Really? I didn't know. I did not know. I thought it was just strictly like I've been conned. I've been had. Now, granted, I don't know the history. I thought that was just a part of the phrasing. I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody. If that's the case, boom. I will work to try to take that out of my vernacular. He agreed. So we don't want to do that to nobody. I do understand. But we'll exchange it then. Conned. You've been had. You've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked. That any of those acceptable terms are what we're afraid of when it comes to this whole act. Dana is poisoned in a lot of different ways. And so, again, I do apologize if I did offend anybody. I did not know that was a negative phrase. Since then, boom, I'll make the change. No issue there. Thank you for letting me know. Dana White is poisoned for a lot of different ways. I don't like him at all in boxing person, and a lot of people don't. Again, a lot of people don't. Ngannou, McGregor, Bones Jones, the list goes on and on. More than that, again, when we look at what was his name? Nate Diaz. One of the most marketable and beloved fighters in all of the world. He fought Jake Paul, and he made more money in that one fight than he did in his entire lengthy and on top of the world career in the UFC. And understand, when I say on top of the world, he was one of the icons of the UFC. Yes, he wasn't the best fighter, but he had an army. I mean an army of fans that would win, lose, or draw, paid to see this man go in blood and fight. Because every time Nate Diaz fought, it was like, hey, brother, you're going to have to kill me. And even if he was outmatched, people would still sell out. You know why? Because people are like, hey, brother, he's going to make you go through the ringer. One of the most iconic things when he rocked, was it Kevin Holland? What was it Kevin? It was Kevin somebody, I can't remember, but who just fought a couple of weeks ago in the UFC. And it was like he was fighting him, and he was losing the fight, and he caught him. He caught him with the 1-2, that iconic 1-2 that he throws, and he wobbled him. He stunned him, and instead of going after him, he pointed at him, and he was like, I got you." That one picture is one of the most iconic photos in the world in UFC history. And it keeps getting perpetuated because it's the legacy of Nate Diaz, and people love that. Yet still, he didn't make as much money in his entire UFC career than he did in one fight with Jake Paul. That is an issue. Francis Ngannou, same thing. Same thing. Mike Perry, same thing. I dare say even Anderson Silva, if we ask him, that payday with Jake Paul when he fought him probably is going to be up there with one of the highest gates he's ever had in the UFC. Probably, I dare say, I wouldn't be surprised if it eclipsed him. And that's not because it's undeserving, because he should have gotten that money long time ago. But it's because of the way Dana White was organizing his thing. Again, it's a problem. It's a big issue. And so let me see. Yeah, no, it's insane. It is really insane. It's really insane. It is absolutely insane. And I will even capitulate this. I understand completely that the idea of a league in boxing sounds phenomenal, and it can be. Getting it so that rankings not just are more meaningful, but actively are put into practice. The number 5 guy fights the number 4 guy. The number 2 guy fights the number 1 guy. Number 1 contender and a champion are guaranteed to fight each other without having to wait around for a mandatory to actually be mandated. If you're an underdog that beats an overachiever, guess what? You get bumped to their ranking. Y'all switch spots. You get a more consistent, stable landscape in the boxing world of who's actually good and who actually ain't. It's a more stringent and consistent system. Yes, with just if everybody's just only under the Ring Magazine moniker of those are only rankings that we take seriously, which again, I'll even capitulate. They've been the most consistent people when it comes to ranking the quality of fighters 1 through 10 in the division. I'll even say that. On that aspect, I'm with Max Kellerman. If there was any ranking system to rely on, it's the Ring. Just about. Mind you, they were the people that invented this. When Sugar Ray Robinson was so dominant that pound for pound, the best fighter in the world was normally always a heavyweight or one of the bigger weight classes, but he was so good, it was like, hey, brother, we can't leave this man out of this. We got to make a whole new brand of list, not just for individual divisions, but for the full landscape of boxing as a whole. This man is so good in Sugar Ray Robinson, we can't just relegate him to just the best at welterweight or at middleweight. He's got to be seen as the best in all of boxing. So we'll make a pound for pound list. That pound for pound moniker is regardless of the weight that you're in. Who is the best boxer in the world? Period. Without needing to be just the biggest guy in the room. That's how that came about. And they've been pretty consistent with it for since the 20s, 30s, however long they've been existing. Great. That idea of that type of consistency with that type of legacy behind it and legitimate rapport, no issue there. I get that. But at the same time, it's not just about what the league can be that's good. Because there are a lot of things that can be good with it. Especially for the fans. And for even the boxers as a whole who earned their shot. This type of league would benefit a Joseph Parker, who should have been getting a title shot years ago. We're going to be completely honest. Still, when we're looking at this, talking about the good is absolutely necessary. But the negative, because of the effects of the man behind the idea, is more pressing. Because if he's able to do and run this league the same way that he's doing it in the UFC, these same issues are going to arise and become a fixture and a problem. Yes, the idea of potentially, hey, you get a floor if you work with them in Zuffa boxing. It's for up and coming fighters. It's for people who get to transition into the big leagues in boxing for the world championship. It's you can show that you're the best of all the young prospects, and then boom, once you stake your claim there, you get pushed into the stratosphere in the big world. Nope, yeah, it sounds great, but again, if you don't, then what comes? It still propagates some of these same ideas that happened in the UFC, where we can complain about, oh, the big people in boxing get the most amount of money. Absolutely. We understand that, yeah, fighters go broke in boxing all the time. We get that. We also can't explain that, again, even the biggest of stars in the UFC aren't able to get the same amount of money as even a fringe contender in the boxing world. It's just the truth. Adrian Broner had a short prime. When he was on top, he was on top. When he dropped quick. But guess what? He still, again, some of the actions of how he lost money to some degree were of his own, and some degree was of mismanagement. But even still, he had more than about anybody else in the UFC once he got to that zenith. When his work got rewarded, he got rewarded for it. And that brother wasn't even, again, I'm not saying he wasn't great, but again, his stint was short, and he was still in the pack with the Floyds, the Pacquiaos, the Canelos still at the top. There was still plenty of people that were above him in the realm of notoriety. I believe Keith Thurman was even on the come up. Errol Smith was still on the rise. Not on the rise, but he was arriving. Crawford was still doing his thing. Though, again, very much not nearly with the respect that he was seeing now. But you get what I'm saying. Anthony Joshua was still Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury. Don't forget, I think he just come back. If I remember correctly, during that stint, or the comeback that had started with them, plenty of stars bigger than Adrian Broner, yet still, but he got paid. Got paid well. Still was doing better than the UFC fighter who was at the top of the mountain. Doing better than Conor McGregor. Mind you, Conor McGregor is insane. But on a fight-to-fight basis, yeah, Broner could stick with him, if not eclipse him on some nights. And so we don't want the fighters to be in a position where, hey, if I don't get to that top of this league, am I going to be able to not be able to get taken care of? The good thing about the pay ceiling, yes, you're guaranteed a certain amount of money. Yes, in boxing, yeah, you gotta, it's going to take a minute to get to the top, unless, again, you're just some prodigy. And you got to fight to pay the bills, no question about it. But, and the idea of you get a 100K, 50K every fight guaranteed, that is absolutely great. That's absolutely great. But then, if you never get above that level, and then you're gone, so your career gets cut short. Let's say that's the only position you're able to fight at. And you get capped. And because that league is now was able to make those amendments, and I'm still trying to make sure I have all the amendments done with how this league can operate, guess what? This could be a situation where if they start changing the pay scale for this league, for what a fighter can make, all of a sudden, hey, the trickle down ideology, where the rich get richer, and if you're working your way up, you get less and less and less. But because you're set in the same name as a big time fighter in Zuffa boxing, oh, hey, isn't that great exposure? That's a problem. But that's what can happen. That's what can happen. Because again, at that point in time, what's the idea? Fighters don't have their own ability to negotiate anything in any boxing sense. And so the same problem arises where if you're not at the top, you don't get money like that. But you're even worse off in being able to negotiate what you can make. Because now it's a mandated thing, just outright. And there can be a lot of good, but if we don't recognize the bad correctly, when it comes, it's going to be a shock. And we're going to be like, oh my gosh, how do we fight this? But then it's too late. It's too late. It's here now. Dude, we can't change it, can we? No. It's a problem. Let me see, prospects making more than UFC main events. Right? Yeah, you're right. They are. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, depending on the main event. Sometimes it depends on the main event in the UFC. Because some of those fights, they are making the bag. But even still, like I would not be surprised if a fighter like Kermel Moton, with what he is as a prospect right now, with him being 19 years old, is making. He's 8-0 right now? Once he gets to like 11-0, boom, he's probably going to be making a couple million, or at least close to $1 million, if not $8 million, every fight. Especially once he takes on gets a performance that shocks everybody, boom. His name's gonna explode. And he's a prospect. He's already got this much in him. This much potential earning power in him in this sport. But if this was in the UFC, it wouldn't be nearly as potent from the standpoint of, hey, I can get up here if I keep doing the work. Again, it would be capped. People say it's not about you can't be worrying so much about the money. You can't be worrying so much about the fighters. But yet you have to in this situation because they're the ones being affected. If we don't look at this from a fighter's perspective in the long term, it can be a dangerous sentiment. And even with all these different gripes, hey, I can get it. Go ahead and tell me to wait around. Go ahead and tell me, hey, I need to wait and see how this plays out. Also, Just Do Boxing, yo, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on today. We're so happy that you're here. We're so happy that you're here. And so, but like, when you can tell me to wait around. You can tell me that I need to sit and let this thing play out. See how the league's gonna go. See how it's gonna operate. Now that it's done and agreed upon in California, let's see what it does before we jump to conclusions. I can understand that identity, or rather that idea of thought process. Yeah. A lot of times, yes, we do speak in presumptuous assumptions. I think that's redundant. We do speak in presuming circumstances where we are already thinking that something's going to end this way, and that's not going to be the case. I get that. And I'll be the one to say I've done that multiple times. Telling me that I need to wait around is not an issue at all. It's a reality. Yes, I do need to wait around. We do need to watch and see how this thing unfolds. We absolutely do need to have a chance to say, let's see what Dana's actually going to do. And let's see how the fighters are reacting if and when, because we know some people are going to, they're going to, when they agree to work with Zuffa, under the amended Ali Act. Which then, to my knowledge, allows the league not just to exist, but to operate with a different circumstances and rules. Let's see what the fighters have to say when they're a part of it, and let's see what the sport looks like as it unfolds and as it takes shape. Because it could be something good. It could be the very thing that helps make this sport better. Hypothetically, it could be something that all of a sudden, hey, we should have had this a long time ago. My gosh, this would have helped out so much in the past. I completely am on board with that idea. But that does not mean that we should not be skeptical. It also should mean that we shouldn't already try to identify, or at least be prepared to identify, certain aspects that can be very negative. Because one thing about this that we do know, we may not know Dana White, the man. We can see some actions, sure. We can see it, but I don't know. I get that. But if we are following his history and track record, and his ideology of my way or the highway, when it comes to not just fighters, but the environment or ethos of sport that he delves into. In this situation, the UFC, and he brings that mentality over to boxing. It's going to be. He's not just going to be a mover and shaker. He's not just going to be a person that is going to ruffle some feathers, and people don't like that. He's not just going to be a guy who goes in and is, oh, I'm making changes and I'm making moves that make y'all uncomfortable, but I'm telling you, I know what I'm doing. It's not just like that. It's going to be, he will inevitably shape the sport in the image that he wants, and it can be to a deficit of the fighters in the long term. We don't know what and all this stuff about changing the ring and adding some other things to the rule changes of the sport. What does that entail? We still don't know. I still don't know. That same type of rhetoric was also used in the UFC when it came to, hey, I'm going to make something insane and great, and I'm going to do it my way. And yes, it worked there, because this was a whole new regime, whole new system, an untapped market in mixed martial arts that had the freedom and leeway to be molded to something that we've never seen before, because it wasn't nearly as, I don't want to say structured, because again, each martial arts style has a vast historic lineage. But in terms of an all-encompassing professional competitive environment, there was room for it to be made as such with what Dana White was doing. Boxing, there's already an established norm, not just norm, but stuff put in place for safety. Some people are saying, hey, it's too safe. We're stopping judges too early, or refs are stopping fights too early. The way it's being scored, people don't like it because it's not prioritizing what people wanted back in the day, which was more voluminous punching. But all of that was done in the framework of safety. What's he going to try to change from that perspective to make it go the other way? Are we going to get Herb Deans in boxing now, where it's just, hey, ref, until if they can get up, they can fight. If they can stand on 2 feet, yeah, let them go. Don't stop nothing until they're unconscious for the 3rd time. It's gonna be like that. And again, I'm being, exaggeratory. I am on that front. Because again, if you watch UFC, you know Herb Dean, and you know some of the reps in the UFC. Hey, brother, you'll be out, and they'll just, hey, do something, just looking at you. But still, it's jokes, but there's a hint of truth to it. sweeping changes can be a very much big, oh my type situation. And this, now with the amended act, it's possible to see it come through. And because there's still so much stuff that is tight to the chest when it comes to what this league is going to look like, outside of what Dana White has said, we have hope and have, what's the word? Have hope and ideology that this could work, sure. But like we always say on this show, hold people's feet to the fire to ensure that this thing does work. And if it doesn't, you tell them and you let them know with your wallet, with your voice, and with action. If you don't get this right, you can't be here. Because we're not making noise for nothing. We're being real. We don't want this to go the way of people are capped and stifled to do what they want to do and to be what they can be, all that they can be in the sport. If it works, great. Keep it around. But if it don't, either you change as necessary and you become adaptable, or you get out. Because we don't want you to, well, I'm not saying I want you to fail, but I don't trust Dana White for a reason. Just like I don't trust all the other promoters for a reason. But again, fighters have spoken, they're working with them. So, they think it's worthy, okay, then it's worth it. But if we see that people are starting to get gypped, not gypped, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's been part of my vernacular for so long. Not that was derogatory, my apologies. People start getting scammed. And people start getting done over. The world. We got to say it's a problem. We have to. And you got to go. At least my perspective. But again, I would love to hear from you all on the show. And it's still the championship rounds. Like I said before, it's been a major talking point for for a lot of boxing populace. And for this, yeah, it was necessary to be discussed because we it's here now. This is the reality. But I do want to hear from you all on the show about what you got to say about this or about anything else in the realm of boxing as a whole. Because again, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful conversation. And I want to hear what you all got to say. We got also some returns in boxing that are revving up in the sport. Not just with November 22nd, with the whole big card with David Benavidez versus Anthony Yard, Ben Rodriguez fighting for another belt or defending his belt yet again. Sadly, we ain't got Archie Benavidez there, but still, it's an action-packed stat card. Couple that with the fact that Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney. But now, even with that fight happening, hey, but the price was a lie. Oh my, oh no, don't clap for that. No, that's bad. If you didn't see, initially we were saying that this fight was gonna be with, not just with the zone, but having a situation where the zone was gonna have a big old bundle where everything was gonna be that, and you can pay. You can pay for one card, and then you're good to go, or you pay one toll and you're good to go, and you get the events for life. Now that ain't happening no more. Now that's gone. That's out the window. Ring Magazine's gonna be $60 now, and it's not a part of that ring bundle that they're going through. Now it's supposed to be that after ring 5 with David Benavidez, Anthony Yard, and all of them, then it's going to kick in. But even still, if they change this, they could change something else. And it could be that even the changes with this are even more exorbitant. Because it might not just be that it's a, again, I'm trying to make sure I got all my information together, but it's not just going to be that, it's that they're paying for the bundle. You got to have it as own subscription. And then afterwards, pay for a separate bundle where you get all the fights on the ring. Not just all fights, period, but all fights with Riyadh season in Ring Magazine. That'd be about what, 15, I want to assume, based on the last what I read, roughly 15 or so. And that's not a good look when we were all raving, myself included on this channel, that hey, we're gonna be having a situation where this is great, this is good, this is affordable, this is gonna stop people from pirating it. It's gonna stop people from actually needing to go and get fire sticks and going through it and again sailing the 7 seas of the internet to go and plunder and steal. Because all we are, everybody's becoming an expert in it. Understandably so, because stuff is so exorbitant. Now, I'll even say that if there was a card to pay for $60, if it's for that card, yeah. Especially when they had Artur Beterbiev as one of the opening fights, you're doggone right. But even without that fight, hey, this is one of the rare few times. I'm not trying to be a shill. I'm not trying to be somebody who is going and just, because I ain't paid by nobody. Be clear. And I've been talking immensely that if you're going to charge something $80 for a tank fight, but they better have heavy hitters left, right, and center. I better be seeing the equivalent of James Toney, Roy Jones Jr., and George Foreman all fighting at the same time. I better be like that. This card, so what, 1, 2, 3, 4 of some of the most notable names all fighting at the same time. Hey, that is worth paying for. I will say that. But even still, what you sold us was a dream that we wouldn't have to pay even that much. And now that you ain't, like I said, it's hard to gain the trust of people, but it's easy to lose it. A first impression can make or break you, absolutely. But at the same time, even after that impression is made, you defy the trust. You defy the trust, and people think that you lied to them. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh my, indeed. Oh my, indeed. It can be bad. It can be horrible. I dare say, for some people, not for all, for some people, it's a I wipe my hands clean type of situation. We don't want it, but let me see what you all got to say on the man. Let me see. Unbiased Brim. Hey, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us today. So glad you're with us. Again, it's still the championship rounds. You all drive the conversation. You all come through and say whatever you want to say on the matter, and we want to hear your voice, your opinions on anything. Anything for the whole show, on anything you want to discuss, whether it's a fight, whether it's a fighter, whether it is a potential matchup, whether it's a dream matchup, NBA, NFL, boxing, movie, sports, television, video games, all that stuff, video games especially. Hey, if you want to talk about some gaming, I'm there for it. Whatever you want to discuss, we're here for it, to entertain the masses right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform. Hey, let's see what you got to say on the matter. Good afternoon. The Ali Act is only acceptable in the is only applicable in the United States only. All the people up in arms are the same people who celebrated Al Heyman circumventing the Ali Act through TBG for years. And I can understand that. Cause, and again, I said this earlier, and it might have been before you had gotten in here. Yeah, Al Heyman, Eddie Hearn, all have done stuff to go and circumvent, undermine what the act was supposed to be. Every promoter in the business right now is shady, has been shady, has done something bad, and has helped to create the downfall of what boxing was for a number of years before the resurgence came about. And like, see, and Al Boogie, you agree with Unbiased Brim's thing? Yeah, no, it's a real thing. Like this is real. This is real. It's real. And yet some of that outrage is hypocritical. I completely get that. But even still, the skepticism should be legitimate. The skepticism should be I'm sorry. You're right. I'm thinking. You're right. My mind's running a million miles a minute. Yeah, Eddie Hearn isn't, again, he's overseas, understandable. Yeah, he didn't have to circumvent it. Ali doesn't disrespect where you just said that. You're absolutely right. That's my bad. That's my fault. I read that off, and it completely went one ear out the other. You're right. In the States, which is where we're going to see most Dana White operate almost assuredly, because he wants the market here. He wants it to be big here. And again, you're right. The Ali Act wasn't changed. It was one addition. Yeah, and we said that earlier and explaining what the Ali Act essentially amendments or additives were done. The Ali Act was not changed from what it is. It was added to by the California State Athletic Commission and the California State Athletic Commission to allow the league to be a thing. Because again, you couldn't have a league like this. And they voted, I believe, 6-0 to make this thing happen. What we're trying to say is now that we are in the reality that this league is real, that this league has the ability to be done and to go forward, we're questioning, yet again, Dana White and the trustworthiness of him as a promoter and as a person running the league as a whole, if he's going to do it in the same way as the UFC, which is, from everything I've garnered, it's looking like he's trying to do that. Not just from, again, a ranking system, fighters fighting who they're supposed to fight, which I'm on board with, but with rule changes, with ring changes, and with a couple other things that he's keeping close to the chest that, again, we just need to be mindful. We need to be mindful of it. Very mindful. But I want to hear your thoughts on how you feel about it. Is it good? Is it bad? Do you support it? What are your concerns? Do you think that we're overreacting? I want to hear from you all, because this is the discourse. Like, I can give my thoughts, but also y'all got you all have opinions of your own, and we're all trying to make sense of this together. I'm not, and I definitely don't know everything. As much as I'm trying to be as informed and as responsible with my information as possible, we're all in this same boat of, hey, we're in a bind. We're in a bind of a whirlwind of emotions, because we think we know what's going to happen, but we also, like I said before, had to be willing to say, hey, we do need to at least let this be a thing, and let the fighters who do go and choose this help to send a message also of, hey, this is actually good, or hey, this ain't what we think it is, and this could be a problem. And allow stuff to actually unfold before we actually go full-blown, shoot it down. Because like I was saying before you had gotten in there, yeah, this could be something that actually does work. But if it does happen that way, that would be a surprise. Pleasant surprise, but a surprise nonetheless, because the expectation, because of who is over this and what he has said in regards to what he's trying to do, brings up concerns that even if the Ali Act and all of this is only applicable here in the States, this is still going to be one of the biggest markets, and he's going to target American boxers because of the fact that in America, the sport, while it's one of the zeniths of boxing from the standpoint of, hey, you can make a lot of money, and it's like you make your name coming here. Remember with Inoue, everybody was saying he needs to fight over here in America before we can say he's really that good. It's still one of the meccas in the world when it comes to boxing. However, in the state itself, outside of big stars, it ain't nothing like the UK. It ain't nothing like the fighters over in Europe. It's nothing like that. From the standpoint of the support of the nation as a whole, if it's a huge fight, yeah, it'll make its airways. But beyond that, most of the people in America, they don't care. They don't even know. They don't even know. Again, our big sports are baseball, basketball, and football. Not necessarily in that order. American football, with American football being at the top, basketball being second, and then baseball being third. Hockey's making bigger rise. MLS is making a bigger rise right now, especially real quick in her. Especially with Messi coming over here to Inter Miami. So like, we're sitting on a gold mine of people, but the sport has died immensely here in the States. Again, because of those promoters. Now, Dana's going to target the American fan with American fighters to bring intrigue back. And it could work, but at the same time, it could be to a detriment in the long term because of what he potentially might try to do as a sole runner of the league. As the guy who wants to make all these changes, and with the pay scale, payments and all that stuff, it can be sketchy, but it also could work. As much as we want it to work, we can't be ignorant over the fact that, hey man, if we don't watch this close, it can go down real quick. But let me see what you all had to say. On the I still want to see what you all's opinions are. Let me see. That's back. Let me see. Boxing's downtrend was Al Heyman, Golden Boy, and Top Rank. Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And Tay, you're right. Everybody has played a part, but you have certain people who want to blame Al. Take it. Yeah. Are we back? Hello. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Hello. Somebody give me a thumbs up. Give me thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we good? Are we not? Hold on. We're good. Okay. I think we're okay. I saw myself freeze for a second. Had to make sure we were okay. But okay, so we're back. We're good. We're okay. But let me keep on reading. I'm certain people. I ran through 900 million water and weed money paying fighters too much overvalue for horrible fights. And like there is a plethora of issues that we can touch on as to why the sport in America, the sport is where it is. Overpaying for fights, overpaying for fans, giving a bad product, going through, and again, a lot of shady stuff with that again, I don't even know. I probably don't even know the half of it. I'm not saying I know everything, but my gosh, I tell you, some stuff I've heard is shoot. But it's like we are, as fans, we are so we're not desperate, but we're longing to have this sport be where it needs to be. Especially when we look around at other leagues and organizations in the States that are well and good growing, or at least have reached the zenith of, hey, we got here and we're staying here. And with boxing, it used to be in that same profile. And then it just dropped like a sack of potatoes. And it's like, if we see all these other organizations making the right decisions to make their sport better, though boxing is not an organization at this point, because it is, again, everybody can be their own person. The beauty of freedom is what has allowed the boxing to be this, again, prize fight. It's prize fighting. You can be a monolith in your own right and have you pick a little way, hey, who wants me type of situation. But at the same time, we're looking at a product and we're saying, man, we know this can work. We know this should work. And we're looking for an answer. And somebody's coming in to save the day. And it's like, well, you're talking good, but at the same time, can we trust you to do this right without taking away not just from the essence of the sport, but without compromising the people who are giving their all for this sport that we love. Because if we get a good sport, but then we go into a situation where, hey, we ain't getting what we're supposed to get as fighters, then we're back in the same boat with the UFC. You got some of your biggest stars leaving. Or being like, if it ain't something huge, I'm not going to do nothing with it. And then you can work your way up X, Y, Z, and then you still might not get what you should get. And so it can be a mess. But let me see. Crazy, I'm still trying to, I'm missing. Okay, here we go. Putting up a good fights on the cards. I disagree on PBC. They worked for their money. There wasn't gifted anything. And see, and crazy thing is, I want to turn this into an Al Heyman show, but you got, for Al, you got two different thought processes of people with supporters and or haters. Well, I don't want to say haters, supporters and detractors for understandable reasons. Because it's like there has been some really good things that Al Heyman has done. And some of the stuff as a good promoter, yes, he's deserved that acclaim. And on the other end of the spectrum, like what Unbiased Brim said, yeah, that is absolutely true. And so it's again, it's a mess. That's what it's a mess in all reality. And it's like, and I'm talking about this, and again, this comes from a guy who I have been, mind you, I'm only 27. We got people 40, 50 who's been watching this sport for years, way longer than me, who even better understands the business aspect of boxing and was there for all the good and bad decisions that not just Al Heyman, but all these other promoters have done and made. That I wasn't even around for when this stuff was happening in some regards. And so it's like but what I can gather, yeah, both those things or sentiments can be applied to them. It really can. It's crazy to say, but it really can. But let me see. I'm just trying to make sure I catch him. But let me see. Crazy you hear about Oscar shortening his fighters, but never about Al. Just saying. Yeah. And I think Oscar's been more, again, I believe. I'm not saying Al hasn't done it, but I think Oscar has been more accused and has also had receipts about him shortening fighters, doing fighters over and not giving them what they should get. Part of the reason why you got people like Canelo, Ryan Garcia, Edgar Berlanga, and other stars I may have missed that are like, yeah, this brother, he is terrible. He's horrible type of situation. And so, not saying that Al hasn't done that either, but also like, it's been a little bit more prevalent. But let me come reading. Let me help you out here. Danny Garcia got paid $1.5 million on Adrian Grandos. There are multiple examples of this, hence why certain fights were not made. Inactivity too heavy with fighters. That's a good point. That's a good point. Let me see. Oscar is the complete opposite as a promoter. As a fighter, he moves his fight like such. Oh Lord, such a mess, and talk mess about others matchmaking. Spare me, Oscar. Oscar. Judge DJ versus Schofield. Shake my head. Yeah, no, and again, when we're, I mean, honestly, I did think that Schofield against Jojo Diaz, I thought it was going to be against, I was assured. I was so sure that if it wasn't Schofield, or excuse me, if it wasn't Shakur versus Tank after that whole Zepeda situation, they would most likely be either unifying the title or fighting Schofield at 135. But Schofield versus Diaz, yeah, I wasn't really high on that fight, and I was also questioning why that was being made. So like I'm there with you. Like I said, y'all are proving my point. You all are proving my point when it comes to the issues of promoters when in the story of the downtrend of what the sport of boxing has become. And all of this is not just very much good information for me. Because again, all this time I've been playing catch up, trying to get as knowledgeable as I can. So I'm just giving you the best I can with the information that I've been able to garner. I have been as transparent as possible, saying if I don't know something or if I'm wrong on something, hey, please tell me. Because I'm not worried about being right. I'm worried about being right. I'm not worried about being right and just, oh yeah, what I said is the right thing. At least when it comes to everything else outside of predicting a fight itself. To that point, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. But like, in other regards, I'm trying to give you all as much of a picture that can be as well painted as possible to let you see what's going on and explain why things are the way that they are. Again, teach, learn, grow, and have fun in the process, as well as debate and talk about it. Because we are going to run into issues like this, where a topic uncovers a lot of different things in regards to the essence and the inner workings of this sport. That is like, oh, is this viable? Are we not doing something about this other issue, about this, all this stuff? Which, again, is great discourse, because it needs to happen. Because if it doesn't happen, we don't get any progress. We don't. And I'll be upfront with you. I guarantee you, as we keep on talking about this whole saga, it's probably gonna get a little bit confusing. I guarantee you, because I'm telling you right now, I'm going a million miles a minute, trying to make sure I got my stuff right. And even still, it's going to be a situation where we won't know the true effects about something up until it's right up on us. Or we won't know, oh, what is this? What was he trying to do? What were they trying to, accomplish? Up until okay, this is the plan. We're here now. Well, now what do we do? I guarantee you it's going to be like that with the situation. I promise you it's going to be like that with the situation. When it comes to this whole Zuffa boxing thing and everybody's reaction to it, promoters and fighters, it's going to hit like an avalanche. So I'm going to tell you up front right now, as much I'm going to do everything I can, but I will probably not have everything on a knowledge basis like I would want. Strictly because I'm still learning about the history of the mess, corruption, good and bad, from the standpoint of how this sport got to where it's got, as well as dealing with the current landscape of stuff. And so this is for a casual fan, for somebody just getting into this. Brother, this could end up being a whirlwind. Because all of a sudden, we already knew that the belts in boxing are very much confusing. We already knew that people are struggling to figure out who's a champion and who. People say there's too many weight classes. There's too many belts. You got the silver belt. You got the regional belt. You got the interim belt. You got the regular champion. You got the super champion. You got the lineal champ. You got doggone it. What did they make? What did they make for the franchise belt that got made all of a sudden? It's an abundance of stuff that it makes a mess. It is part of the reason why it's so difficult for casual fans to follow, because everybody's so confused as to where in the world do we need to go? What's what? It's hard to track. It's hard to track. I'm in it. And we're in it. And doggone it is hard to track. I mean, my gosh. And so, just for anybody watching, just be prepared. Y'all are knowledgeable. Y'all are smart. But just be prepared. Because there's a potential that stuff could get really bit confusing. Especially with now Zuffa going to have their own belt as well, not recognizing other belts. Now it's going to be a question. Hey, if a big star goes over there and wins a belt, who's the real champion of said division type situation? And it's going to be which lineage do we validate? Which lineage do we? No, it's oh gosh. It's just a lot, man. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. Excuse me. No, sorry, but so just be mindful that it might get a little bit hectic in the next couple months. It might get a little bit hectic. I'm not gonna lie. It might get a little bit hectic, but even still, we're gonna do our best to keep track of it as much as possible. Let me see. Once you become a fighter who's making millions a year, it becomes rare to see him more than 2 times a year. Now, that's true, but it's not de facto. Because again, you got Inoue, who one of the biggest, with only him staying in Japan alone, is making multi-million dollars every fight. Every fight. Not to mention merchandise, promotions, advertisements, sponsorships that he works with companies. Oh, just in that area. It's insane. It's just, oh, that's in my bad. I mean, okay, my bad. Okay, thank you for clearing. Okay. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. Thank you for clearing it up. And yeah, okay. As an American, if you're talking about American fighters, yes, it is rare. Which I still don't get, because if you're that big of a star in that much of a prime, and you can fight 4 times a year, and let's say you go 3-1, guess what? You still making bank. And it's like you keep your name in the wheel of not just opportunity, but of absolute notoriety. That I never got. Now again, I'm not saying I'm a fighter. I'm not saying I know what they go through. I understand it is a pain to train, weight cut, weight gain, bulking up to trim down. It's a mess. I know it is a hard life. I don't want nobody. I want everybody to get in and get out as much as they can, but as healthy as possible. I completely understand it. However, if one of the biggest things is inactivity, yet everybody who's at the top has been inactive or is willingly being inactive, it's like, well, shoot. Which one do we want? If you get what I'm saying. And even if it's like fighters talking about inactivity, it's like, well, then when you got to the same position, well, you doing the same stuff. So I'm like, well, what's going on? It's insane. Let me see. Von Green here. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on today. Let me see. If TNA and WWE can join together, why can't PBC and Top Rank do the same thing? What? You know what? As a wrestling fan, I get this fully. I get this. We just had Joe Hendry fight at WrestleMania with the TNA World title. We had Mickie James walk out to Royal Rumble as the TNA Women's Champion. We just had Trick Williams in NXT. Again, wrestling fan. This is wrestling. If you don't know it, get involved with it. It's great, but we're just using references right now. We had Trick Williams become the TNA Champion while he just got off the backs of being NXT Champion in WWE. Zack Ryder is back in WWE. Working with TNA, part of the invasion, or where they changed it to Showdown, after the whole invasion angle. But you get what I'm saying. Like, it would make so much sense. Quisenberry versus Matchroom was a great card, even though it was dominated by Quisenberry. But even still, like, we could see stuff like that on multiple occasions. We should. If they can do it over there, and mind you, WWE don't work with in the past, but if you were from another company, you got put through the ringer. Dusty Rhodes, the whole polka dot get up was disrespect because he was NWA World Champion. Because he wasn't with WWE from the get up. And they tried to make fun of him, but he made the polka dot gimmick with his manager and all of that. He made that work and became one of the most popular people in WWE at that point in time, the WWF, regardless of what they tried to put on him as a gimmick, because he was that good. But they tried to go back through and look through the history. If you came from another company, they would try to bury you when you got here. And now they're working with people. Now they're actually opening up their arms and saying, hey, let's have ourselves some camaraderie. And everybody's benefiting. If they can do that, why can't they do the same? Why can't promoters do the same thing on a more consistent basis? It makes no sense. To me, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. It's frustrating. Let me see. Once every 18 months to 2 years, you're gonna need to study up on this. Yeah, no, I know. Like we've talked about when it comes to inactivity. Again, Backwand right now inactive. We people got on Terrence Crawford for not fighting upwards of a year. Jermell Charlo, just about 3 years gone. Keith Thurman, 3 years gone. Spence, just about nearly getting ready to be 3 years gone. Tank fighting once a year. Not against, with all due respect, comparative to his talent, bums. Compared to the level that we know Tank should be at, he's fighting people that he has no business in the ring with. And only fighting once a year. If twice a year is something of an insane situation. Manny Pacquiao's about to have a quicker turnaround than some of the active champions in boxing right now, because he's got a fight lined up potentially for, what is it, January? Somewhere between January and March. Trying to find an opponent right now. So I'm like, hey man, the world indeed. I barely consider WBA as a legitimate organization anymore. They are ridiculous. Look, belt commissioner, y'all already know. Y'all already know. It's y'all already know it's horrible. Let me see. TNA and WWE is scripted. They can control outcomes and plan accordingly. Boxing, even though business is horrible, is still a sport. But just to help you out, you're absolutely right. It is theater. But both companies are competing against each other. And in the past, that would have never happened. Even before, the last time they worked with a company straight up outright and trying to make television together was WCW. And that was with the invasion, the first invasion angle. And it started out hot, and then it fizzled out to some degree. A lot degree, to be honest. And anybody who came from that invasion angle that was a part of WCW, if you weren't Booker T, if you weren't Scott Steiner, if you weren't one of the more bigger tickets, or you were able to make it through as a wrestler without getting the hammer dropped on you because you were from WCW, you got made to look weak, and then you were out the company in less than 2 years after the invasion. And so it was like they had a history of, if you weren't a WWE guy, born and bred, either you weren't booked correctly, you were made to be looking like a fool, or people, what we call a work or a shoot. A work is, okay, we're doing it under the plan of what we're trying to build as a story in wrestling. Shoot, we're going off script, and we fighting for real. We taking liberties. We ain't no more we're trying to protect each other. I'm actually trying to hurt you now. And they would let their wrestlers take liberties, shoot on wrestlers from other promotions. that were with WCW to further make them look like fools and to make them seem like, oh, you don't belong. And so it got sketchy. So even though, yeah, it's scripted, it is. But there's still backstage politics. I'm telling you, it's a mess. It's a mess. It was a mess, and it still is to some degree, but it's a lot better now because they're letting people thrive. Like I said before, touching WrestleMania, if you weren't part of WWE from the jump, was rare, incredibly rare. All of a sudden now the biggest star actually came over as a shock, and it was welcomed. My goodness. We're sending WWE sending stars from their company to other promotions. That would have never happened back in the day. You would have never seen somebody like Stone Cold going over back to WCW to put on a performance and to fight one of their top champions and potentially lose. You would never see them because they were not trying to make their champion look good. Make their guy look bad going up against another company's top star. They wouldn't even risk it. They would just downplay it. So you a bump. That's a bush league. That's fodder. Minor league stuff. You don't want to play with them. You want to play with the big boys over here. So it's rare. Again, if they can do it, boxing can as well. And they just did it with Quisenberry versus Matchroom. Not even 2 years ago. And everybody loved that idea. We want to see that again. That could be a consistent thing. Cross-promotional events with top fighters. Because that's going to be the only way that we get a lot of fights, or else we're going to get a Terrence Crawford Spence situation. If you're over there and I'm over here, you're with PBC or whoever, and I'm with Top Rank and whatever, handle your business and then we can fight. That's a bunch of mess. That's a bunch of mess. And when we're real, that's a bunch of mess. They should have been fought long time ago. Stars across promotion shouldn't have to be delegated to just fighting everybody over there, and then now you're worthy to fight me over here. No, it shouldn't work. It should not work like that. It should not work like that at all. It's a shame. It really is a shame. Let me see. Trying to go through right here. That's not everybody. I'm mentioning most guys overall. Yeah, you right. Charlo 2 years, Spence 2 years, Cool Boy 18 months, Thurman 3 years. Yeah, no, it's a lot more names than that. Charlo being inactive is his fault. Thurman always injured. Cool Boy had 2 fight days. Oh yeah. Cool Boy, he did have 2 fight days pushed back. He did. In fact, this fight with O'Shaquie Foster could have been the main event when Figueroa got injured against Thurman. And they said, oh, that fight can't happen. Instead of getting pushed under the card of Isak Cruz versus Lamont Roach, that fight could have been its own fight. That fight could have been the main event. It could have. You dropped the price. Yeah, but that fight could have kept on going. It should have. In fact, I said was it Tuesday or Thursday? One of them 2 days. I think I had even brought up Stephen Fulton and been like, hey, you got somebody who, off the backs of losing the Inoue, just went and moved up to 126, rematched Figueroa, looked dominant in doing so, won that fight going away, and now you got a star at 126 that can potentially be a big-time player, not just to become undisputed, but to legit hold a belt and be somebody that you can push as, yo, this is a marquee star to look at. This brother ain't no joke. And build him up. And get him fights consistently. But you didn't do nothing with them. Or rather, stuff kept getting moved time and time again. And it's a shame. Even now, that fight should be marketed even better. Yet they weren't doing nothing with it. Or not nearly as much as it should be. I got shocked when I found out that fight was happening. I'm not going to lie. Because there wasn't nearly as much fanfare or as much of a deal between them. Especially since now it's at 130. Moving up to fight a champion at 130 after just winning a belt at 126. Oh my gosh. Hey, look, that's impressive. Yet it is now being put on the back burner yet again, when it could have been his own thing. And I do not like that. Let me see. Elspin said he'll come back when he wants to, so that means he ain't ready. Well, see, and you know what? Here's a perfect conversation. And also, Al Booger, Cool Boy being pretty active, I would say, yeah, comparatively, again, a lot of recent, these fights of him not being active ain't his fault. I can say that it ain't been his fault that he hasn't been able to get in the ring like he wants, because he's been ready. He has. And he got to fight. He did. It just now, it's an unfortunate circumstance that he's kind of gotten the bad end of the sticks when it comes to we got a date, got moved back, got moved back. It's a shame. But even still, Tay, this conversation, very interesting indeed, because now we're saying El said he'll come back when he wants to. So that means he ain't ready. You're right. But at the same time, I don't think he's coming back. I don't think Spence is coming back. I gotta be real with y'all now.
Hey, look at this. We got the problems.
I don't think he's coming back.
We got the problems here.
I don't think he's coming back now. Because what sense would you being 3 years out the ring, with you being one of the top stars in boxing that we know, with you also having the cachet that you have, and you yourself said you need to go to 154, just like with Boots. You said you need to move up because you can't do what you need to do with your body at 147 anymore after Terrence Crawford. You all had a rematch, or we thought it was going to be a rematch together with you and Crawford at 154. We were all waiting for that next. Even though people said, we don't need to see that fight again. You're absolutely right. We didn't need to. But if it got made, guess what? The back of the narrative would have been, hey, Spence couldn't be everything he could be. And everybody kept on saying, oh, he wasn't looking right going into the ring. Everybody still using the car crash. Everybody was still using the retina and all that stuff for why he lost. So he had the means of buffer to still give that fight some real intrigue after the beatdown. And yet still didn't happen. And now it's been, at this point, what else is there to say that he still needs to wait around and prepare? Except for what you gonna do? What else is there to wait around for? I love he's spending time with his family. I love he's enjoying a break with the revenue he's got. And being a father, being a dad, and all that stuff. I love that to pieces. Absolutely. But then you can't get defensive when you're saying that you still want to come back, but you're not coming back. When you're teasing that you're ready, and then you're not doing anything. When you're saying, I still want the work, and you ain't doing nothing. Even when you had to with the fight with Sebastian Fundora. We thought it was going to be Fundora versus Spence. Excuse me, not Fundora versus Thurman. Which, again, hey, if Thurman shows up and shows out, no issue. No issue. But still, you walked into the ring. And then all of a sudden the fight just inexplicably just went dead silent. And it's like, at some point in time, we got to be asking, hey, Spence, brother, we may believe you can make a comeback, sure, but we don't believe you're coming back until you do something. And at this point, if you do come back, I'm very concerned at what you're going to look like now. Because I'm going to be real. It shouldn't take him 3 years to prep and get ready. It shouldn't take him 3 years to get where he needs to be. Especially now off the backs of Crawford took 1 year off to get to 168, and we saw what he was able to do. You at one division up, it's not a great look to say, hey man, hey brother, you still ain't ready at 154? Now of all times? When the division's hotly contested, when there are names left, right, and center, you can go down the list up, when you would still be of this deep division, one of the bigger marquee fixtures that everybody would still want to fight. You got a guaranteed moneymaker fight that makes sense and is competitive and could bolster you into a potential championship opportunity. Though, again, people may not say that he's ready yet. Still, because of the marketability, it could actually happen. And you can get pushed there with a fight with you versus Charlo. People waiting on Charlo to come back. People waiting on you to come back. Where is the noise? Where's the commitment to saying, yeah, at some point in time, you got to say I'm ready. At some point. Because I'm losing faith. I'm losing faith that he's going to actually be able to come back and be Spence. Because I'm losing faith he's going to come back at all. At all. And I want to see him succeed. I want to see him be better than he was at 147. And he was dominant at 147 outside of Terrence Crawford. I want to see what this next chapter of Spence can be. I'm excited. I'm not a hater. I wasn't a hater for either of those fights. I thought Crawford was going to win when they fought against each other, when I made my predictions. So you can go back and watch it on stream. Go back and look at the whole breakdown. I did a whole video before we were doing lives. We went through what he needs to do, how he needs to do it, what's going to happen, what can Spence do to win, how can Crawford win, what's the X factor for each opponent. I dare say I called it pretty on the nose, if I may say, but even still. That wasn't because I was hating on him, because I just thought he was better. But doggone it, I still want to see this brother be great. But if you're going to show it, I'm like, hey, what's there to do? And then, if it ain't Spence that Charlo will fight against, again, kind of, we're still in the same vein. If it ain't Charlo, that Spence is going to fight, who else would it be that would make sense in the division of the bigger names? Because he showing up shouldn't be fighting Boots at 154 for his first fight back. Showing up shouldn't be doing that. Not Virgil Ortiz, not Madrimov, not Bakram, definitely not Fundora because he's a champion. I would have said Keith Thurman, but now Keith is in the ring with Fundora. So that option's out the window. You fight him against Lima, okay, fine. If we want to go fodder for fodder, yeah, sure. But would he even get out of bed for that fight? That's the question. Is he even willing to go through with a fight that isn't a big marquee type of name? There's a lot of questions surrounding Spence, all of which don't show me that he really does. Well, let me rephrase that. All of which, when it comes to those questions surrounding Spence, gives me an inclination to not have the belief that he is going to come back to boxing, that he's going to stay out. Because right now, the brother's what? He's what? How old is he? How old is this man? The man's 35 years old. Spence is 35 years old. Mind you, his last fight. Mind you, his last fight was 2023. When he was, I'm trying to remember, what would that be? Maybe what, 32, 33? 32, 33 years old at that point in time. And again, with 2023. Shoot, it's been over 2 years since his last fight with Terrence Crawford. Coming now is closer to 3 than it is to 2. And this brother ain't doing nothing with potentially the end of his prime now being there. Because mind you, Canelo's 36. When he fought Ryder, he was 35. When he fought Munguia, he was 35, 36 years old. It was about that time that we were starting to say, hey, the ability of Canelo, we're seeing a decline now. He's still in its prime, but he ain't the same brother. But he's been active. He was fighting at least 2 times a year, consistently. Now, Spence, he's been out for nearly 3, and he's at that same age where we saw the likes of Canelo start having a downtrend in his ability as a fighter. Most champions that we saw get to 35 years old all of a sudden are seen as an old fighter, and if they have their prime still, guess what? It's a blessing. If it doesn't, guess what we're saying? The clock's winding down. It's about time for him to get up out of here. It's getting closer and closer to being, the book is getting ready to close. The novel's about to be finished on this man's career. And now he's a stepping stone, potentially, for another up-and-coming young fighter. Because he's had his time in the sun. That's what this could be. That's what this could be. And it's like, it's really, really frustrating. If anything, and I even said that he shouldn't fight him. If anything, if you want me to be really honest, though I said he shouldn't fight him at all, if we went the route going back to Boots Ennis of what we expect to see from him as a fighter, which again, we want champions, accolades, all that stuff. Virgil Ortiz, nobody that isn't within that top 5 or has a belt to their name. Absolutely. But if it didn't go that route, and we didn't get that fight next, and they did play the 2 tune-up game that we were speculating they were going to play, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, some way, Spence got into that mix. He shouldn't fight him, I know. But they wanted to go to, if they do indeed end up going the 2 tune-up route for easy fights before getting into the big dogs, if they do, though they're not talking like it. Like I said, if we've seen boxers go in, detract from what they were going to do before. If he went that route, Spence makes perfect sense. A fight to handle your business, a fight that you should win, a fight that you can win dominantly, and a fight that would be a big name. And you can beat Crawford quicker than he beat Spence. Excuse me, you beat Spence quicker than Crawford beat Spence. Let's say you replicate the same fight that you did against Lima. All of a sudden, that everybody's talking about that. Negative or positive light, they're talking about that fight. Your stock still goes up because all of a sudden, oh my gosh, you beat one of the best of a bygone era that everybody still wanted to see come back, and now you got that name under your belt. And this is going to be spun. It's a statement win because Crawford ain't handled Spence like that. Hey, it might make sense that we see you versus Crawford at 160. Now, even more so, you get bigger cachet, bigger marketability. You further get implemented into the zeitgeist of being back as one of the biggest contenders to the likes of Terrence Crawford. People start drumming up. They want to see that fight again even more. And to get in the title picture, you bring an even bigger aura around you. When you inevitably get a title, all of a sudden, boom. Everybody's going to be saying, oh, the world's your oyster. Undisputed, and then now, whatever else you want to do. Janabek, come get some. It's going to be talking like that. Laura, if Laura beats Janabek, hey, come get some. what you want. It's that type of talk's going to be happening. If he goes about winning in the way winning and beating Spence, it's the start of that type of domino effect. If he does go the 2 tune-up route and not fight Ortiz or any of the other champions next at 154, I could see that happen. I really can. I don't want it to happen, but I could definitely see it. But if it ain't for that fight, brother, I don't know if I'm ever gonna see Spence come back. I really don't. And that's sad. That's really sad. I'm not gonna lie. That is really, really sad. But again, is there anything else anybody wants to say when talking about the world of boxing as a whole? Again, we can talk about the ring 5. Further talk with Dave Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. Further talk on Devin Haney versus Brian Oman Jr. Do we want to talk about Bam Rodriguez and more specifically his rise to fame? How high do we think this cat can go in his potential dominance of multiple divisions? Do you think he'll become undisputed at 115? Or do you think he'll try his undisputed route at 118, following in the footsteps of Inoue, and become undisputed at 118 and 122 to potentially get a dream matchup with either Junto Nakatani or Naoya Inoue? Could he even get up to 126 and be great? Do we think his talent can transcend that for? All of that and more we can talk about right here if you would like it, because again, it's the last call. We ain't gonna force nothing. We're gonna let the public see what they want to see. We're gonna let the public say what they want to say. Whatever your opinions and thoughts are, you got your chance to make your opinions known. But hey, if y'all stop talking, we good. We are not gonna drag this show out long, and we ain't gonna try to force the issue to where no, that's the wrong thing. We ain't gonna try to force the issue to where we just try to keep on talking just to talk. Not because we don't want to be here, but because, again, we believe in value and substance, not just going about just because. So with all that being said, is there anything else anybody wants to say on the matter? Whether it's something in regards to a comment I missed, an opinion, a debate, a concern, a suggestion in regards to the boxing landscape, or are we good and ready to pack it up and send it home? Yeah, it's a little bit shorter. I'm not gonna lie. Most of the conversation went around the Ali Act debacle and all the craze that is going with the potential scary change that can come about in boxing, and will it be good or bad? Does anybody have any more thoughts on that aspect of this whole thing? Because again, to summarize, the situation's sketchy. I don't trust Dana White. Should we give this league an opportunity to actually work? Yes. But we should also still keep the skepticism on an all-time high. Because like we said before, yes, this is going to be a league that looks to be an initiation league of sorts. Prospects to young talent all go there. That's the aim. They win the Zuffa belt, and then they get transferred over into the Ring magazine or the Riyadh season boxing cards, to where now they start fighting against the best of the best in the world, based on what the Ring magazine says as a whole. But again, this can create some confusion. This can create some concerning situations. This can create a situation where, do they recognize champions that aren't holding the Ring magazine title? Point blank, period. Will the WBC mean anything to them? With all the mess with the WBA, would that mean anything to them? IBF, WBO, any of them. Will any rankings actually be weighted in any regard, even if they are actively correct? Even though they're outside of the rankings of the Ring magazine. It's just a slippery slope to be mindful of as we keep on going through. But if nobody else has anything else they want to say, and everybody's got all their questions and stuff out the way, I think this is a good enough time. Hey, we can pack it up and send it home and have y'all enjoy you all's weekend on this Friday afternoon. So with all of that being said, this has been another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch, right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Make some noise clapping up. We appreciate your time, your energy, your effort. Hopefully you enjoy the conversation. We had some very good discourse on today. Like I said, it was very engaging, very much fun. Hopefully you liked what you heard. Hopefully you were entertained. I do hope and pray I made the day even better for you as you're going out to finish off your work weekend, heading into the weekend. Don't forget the NBA starts on, I believe it's Sunday, October 21st. Is it going to be on Sunday? I think it's on Sunday. It's either this Sunday or next week. No, I'm sorry. On Tuesday. It starts next week on Tuesday. Get excited because then we're going to be able to talk about all the stuff in the world of the NBA as well as the NFL, as well as boxing. Oh, yes, indeed. We're going to cover all three, and it's going to be a phenomenal atmosphere. We got storylines galore that you don't want to miss as we go and delve into the season openers and everything involved with the world of basketball on top of boxing that we do right here on this show. Now that the season started, we're going to incorporate it in. And oh, I can't wait for it because it's going to be so exciting. But again, leave a like on the video before you get on out of here. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Share the show with everybody you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. We appreciate everybody who came on stream, yes indeed, and commented, chatted, supported, and left all your good vibes and your well wishes and all your comments. We enjoy them. We love them. If you would like to support this channel and you like what we got going on and you want to help invest into it and help make this show bigger, better, and grander, we got Cash App, we got PayPal, we got links down below in the description if you would like to come and support anything we'll do. We ain't gonna force you. We're gonna earn it by being a quality production, at least to the best of my ability. I'm a one-man band. I'm doing the best I can. And so I do this for a living. And so it means the world to me if you can help out and support. And is that everything? I think that's everything. And oh yeah, we're getting monetization. It is coming. We're getting everything set up on the back end. And I guarantee you, it's gonna be beautiful when it does indeed take place. But again, I can't wait for it. I appreciate all of your support. I've been Jean-Luc Welch. You all have been wonderful. Peace and love. How we are out of here. Yes, sir. We're gonna be back on Tuesday to cover the world of boxing and beyond. Be safe, be blessed, have a great time, and we are out of here. See ya.